A happy morning to you all aspirants. Welcome to the Civil's Daily Current Affairs Analysis, brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. And in this video, we will be discussing about the current affairs or news articles which are very relevant to the date of 4th of September. And we are also requesting you to kindly subscribe to the Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel for receiving regular updates. Before getting into the topics for today's discussion, there is a small and important announcement for the aspirants who are preparing for UPSC Prelims 2026 that the Shankar IAS Academy is going to start UPSC Prelims test series under pre-storming, and the batch 1 of this test series starts from today, that is 4th of September 2026. And please register yourself and get a strong hold over the UPSC prelims of 2026. It's better late than never. And the topics taken for today's discussion, or the first topic, is the sickle cell disease and its associated concern towards the disabilities. And the second topic is the governor's powers over the passage of bill which was to be passed by the state legislature. And the third topic is the India Seychelles maritime ties and the specific focus towards the MAHASAGAR initiative of India. And the fourth topic is the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act. And the fifth topic, where we discuss about the prelims focus on topics which are very relevant to the UPSC prelims in a short and crisp manner. In this first news article for today's discussion, we will be discussing about the sickle cell disease as well as its associated disability justice. And this news article was taken from The Hindu. And what made it in news? Because of this, the recent revised guidelines issued under the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of 2016, which made to access the person who are affected by this sickle cell disease, sickle cell anemia, beta thalassemia, or HBD variant of this disease, to assess the extent of its disability among the individual. And what made it as a concern? Because of the exclusionary behavior of this act or the revised guidelines, that despite having recognition under this act, the person who are affected by this sickle cell disease has been excluded or being not covered under the reservation for government jobs, which is considered to be 4% among the job reservation for person who are with benchmark disabilities. And this eligibility has been excluded for the person who are affected by this sickle cell disease. And what made the barrier or the hurdle for getting the certification is the variation that this disease involves, that the disability of this disease percentage may varies from person to person, as well as the access of this disease disability extent has been varying from doctors as well as board members, is also the primary barrier for getting certification under this Disabilities Act. And what is the another concern or the barrier for getting this certification from this disability is that the biomedical scoring process which involves in this type of diseases, which is fluctuating as well as invisible in nature, because it doesn't shows any disability in the external appearance of an individual. So it involves the biomedical scoring. So by involving this process of biomedical scoring, the variation in this disability extent got variation from doctors to doctors as well as the individual to individuals. For assessing or quantifying the disability is also a concern, and which will be also an hurdle for the person who are affected by this kind of disease to from getting the eligible quota under government job reservation. And what are the other barriers for specifically a type of citizen or the individual involved in the society, or the rural and tribal people who are extremely marginalized in the society, who are facing difficulties in accessing the diagnostic center for getting proper assessment, as well as the certification, and they may not be aware of this affected by this disease. And what are the impacts of this sickle cell disease is that the person who are affected by this disease are being involved in the process of chronic anemia, organ damage, severe pain crisis, as well as the frequent hospitalization needs to be involved for this individual because of this disease fluctuations as well as its invisibility. And its potential impact was also reflected on the educational background or the educational growth of an individual, and it also impacts on the or disrupts the employment opportunities for an individual. As and it also in the recent slide we have discussed that the eligibility for getting reservation under the person with benchmark disabilities also been excluded for this person who are affected by this disease. And it also in turn affects the livelihood or disrupts the livelihood of an individual. And what made the impact more prominent, or what made the impact more concern, is that the high burden of this disease falls on the people of Adivasis as well as the Dalit communities in the Indian society, which societies or which communities are being marginalized communities, and they may not be aware of this disease, and they may not get the proper infrastructure, and they are not very near to the infrastructure, public health infrastructure. They may not be near their surroundings, so they were not being properly channelized or properly monitored for getting assessment under this disease. And what is the actual intent of this act? And the reality was showing a great divide or a great gap between this act as well as in proper implementation. And it also being implemented, this right of person with disabilities act was being implemented to cut size or narrow down the process of getting eligible to get the reservation or getting certified under this person with benchmark disabilities. But there is exclusion activities, or the revised guidelines shows contrary to the actual implementation process. And some basic things about we need to know about the sickle cell disease is that the causative causes of this sickle cell disease will be because of the autosomal recessive mutation. That is, it is a mutative disease caused the mutation in the beta globulin gene, that is HPB, and which causes the degradation or the deformation of this hemoglobin S. And the diagnosis or the treatment of this sickle cell disease will be through the hemoglobin electrophoresis, which will be also be an important prelims topic. And it can be reflected in the UPSC prelims that this hemoglobin electrophoresis is related to which of the following. That may be a possibility of this question. And the other diagnosis process is also very important to our UPSC preparation, that is this high performance liquid chromatography. This high performance liquid chromatography is the process of clearly defining or identifying the deformed hemoglobin in the affected person. And by identifying this deformed or not properly formed sickle celled hemoglobin has been excluded from the bloodstream of this infected person. And this is also a type of treatment involved in the person with sickle cell disease. And this is also very important for our UPSC prelims too, that there may be a question can be asked related to high performance liquid chromatography is related to which of the following. There may be a possibility. And the treatment primarily involves the usage of hydroxyurea, and this is also another important UPSC prelims perspective, that it can also be asked in the UPSC prelims, which also involves the process of modifying this disease to getting the hemoglobin into from preventing the hemoglobin to be made into sickle like structure. This hydroxyurea is used. And the blood transfusion process is also in process of treatment, infection prevention, as well as this HSCT. This is also a very important topic we need to know from this disease, and it is also very relevant to the UPSC prelims preparation. Please have an overview of this HSCT, which is also an curative process or the curative treatment for this sickle cell disease, which involves the stem cell therapy or the replacement of this stem cells into the infected person. this HSCT. And the epidemiology of this India, as we seen earlier, that the high prevalence has been found among the people who are tribals as well as the scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste communities. Both are marginalized in the Indian society, and we need to focus more on this topic. And the public health issue is also a great concern, that the screening and management are the only process which involves the national priority under the National Health Mission. With this, we move to the next topic. Recently, Supreme Court judges has expressed their concern towards the governors over the passage of bill passed by the state legislatures. With this background, we will be discussing about the power of governors over the passage of bill passed by the state legislature in detail. And this news article was taken from The Hindu. Under Indian Constitution, the power of governor can be classified into four, and the four are executive powers, legislative powers, judicial powers, and the financial powers. And the power of governor over the passage of bill comes under the legislative powers of the governor. And according to the Article 200 of Indian Constitution, the governor of a state has the following four alternative options when the bill is passed by the state legislature. Either he can, either she can give assent to the bill, or she can withhold his assent, or she may return the bill for reconsideration if it is not a money bill, as the money bill cannot be returned to the state legislature for reconsideration because it was introduced priorly on the approval of the governor. And if the bill got repassed with or without amendments to the governor for consideration, the governor must have to give the assent to the bill. And the fourth option is the reservation of bill for the consideration of the president. And these are all the four options alternates before the governor over the passage of bill passed by the state legislature. And under Article 201 of Indian Constitution, the president has the role when the passage of bill got the consideration from the governor. And what are the alternatives or the options beside the president over the passage of bill passed by the state legislature, which in turn to be passed by the governor for the consideration of president? The president has also the following alternatives, that she may give the assent to the bill. If she gives the assent to the bill becomes law and it will be got formally into the implementation. And the second is the withhold of assent by the president. If president withholds the assent over the passage of bill, the bill becomes fail and it will not be into the consideration further. And the third alternative beside the president was the return of bill if it is not money bill, that the president may also return the bill for reconsideration. And if the legislature, that is the state legislature, repasses the bill with or without amendments, the president has the two alternatives beside him or her, that is that she can give the assent to the bill or she can withhold the assent to the bill. So this granting or withholding of assent after the repassage of or the repassing of bill by the state legislature to the president is the peculiar feature of the president's power. And the president is not bound to give his assent, unlike the governor, who has to give the assent or who has the mandate to give the assent to the bill on its repassage. With this, we move to the next article. With this news article taken from The Hindu, we will be discussing about the Mahasagar initiative of India in detail in further section. Before getting into know about what is Mahasagar initiative of India, this is in news because of Indian Navy ships involving INS Tir, INS Shardul, and the Indian Coast Guard ship Sarthi, comprising of India's first training squadron of Indian naval officers, arrived at the port of Port Victoria, which is at Seychelles, which is also an important fact from the UPSC prelims point of view, that they may ask question that the Port Victoria was recently in news, which is of which of the following country, which is situated in which of the following country, they may ask question on that. And this crew members of this Indian Navy ships are on the are on their long range training deployment activity in the southwest Indian Ocean region. And this long range training deployment is different from other strategic activities, which involves only the combat activities as well as the patrolling activities. It is different because it also involves various other advanced training activities and the professional development of between both the nations. And it also has the scope for the diplomatic engagement involved in this long range training deployment. So it is also very important from the UPSC prelims point of view. And moving to the Mahasagar initiative, the Mahasagar initiative is as mutual and holistic advancement for the security and growth across region. And it has been announced by the India in the year of 2025, and it is as a part of its Indo-Pacific policy vision. That this with this Mahasagar initiative, India also has a dedicated policy over the region of Indo-Pacific region, and this initiative is known as the Mahasagar initiative. And this Mahasagar initiative is considered to be the successor as well as the broader framework to the earlier initiative called as Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region. This Sagar initiative was initiated by the India in the year of 2015, and this Mahasagar initiative is the successor or to be in a broader framework for this Sagar initiative. And this Mahasagar initiative is aiming to strengthen the regional cooperation, maritime security, connectivity, and economic growth across the Indo-Pacific region as well as the Indian Ocean region. As we discussed earlier, this the deployment of long range training deployment of Indian Navy ships and the first training squadrons will be the first initiative or the first step towards the engagement between the eastern Indian Ocean region countries or the Indian Ocean region nations to establish or the to have a say over the Indo-Pacific region for India. And what are the primary objectives or the objectives behind this Mahasagar initiative is to establish amicable maritime security, to have a security monitoring over the Indo-Pacific region as well as the Indian Ocean region. And it also has the scope for the enhancement of connectivity between both the nations or the nations on the Indo-Pacific region. And it also has the scope for the enhancement of trade between the nations participating in that activity. And it also has the say over the climate change initiative, and it can easily implement various other activities which are very relevant to the climate change has been implemented across the nations in the Indo-Pacific region. And the sustainable development goals has been mutually accepted and coordinatedly implemented in the regions of Indo-Pacific region. And this Mahasagar initiative focuses more on the inclusive participation of all the countries who are being the part of this Indian Ocean region or the Indian Indo-Pacific region. So this was also has the scope of inclusive development of the region as well as the improvement of India in various other sectors. And this long range deployment, as we discussed, has the scope for the economic as well as the environmental engagement. And it also has the scope for the engagement of multi-operability as well as the cooperation between both various other sectors of environment, economics, and other dimensions for the overall improvement. And the regional cooperation is the foremost pillar of this Mahasagar initiative, that it involves the development of all the development of that region as a whole, not the specific engaging country is the focus. And what are the key features of this Mahasagar initiative is the establishment of broader scope across the Indian Ocean region, and it has expanded the scope of Sagar initiative, which was implemented earlier. That it expanded the scope to other various dimensions such as the security, economic, and the environmental dimensions. As we discussed earlier, it has the scope for the implementation of environmental sustainability and the sustainable development activities, and also the trade and connectivity activities also be the primary focus of this Mahasagar initiative. And it also helps the India to align its policies with the India's Act East policy, as well as various other initiatives such as the Indo-Pacific Ocean initiatives. If any of the initiatives taken in the Pacific Ocean initiative can be implemented across Indo-Pacific region by India through this initiative, and the BIMSTEC, Indian Ocean Region Association, and the Quad objectives need to be aligned, or focus to be aligned with this Mahasagar initiative, and it will be very viable for India to implement these initiatives in that area. And the emphasis of collective advancement, this Mahasagar initiative focuses more or emphasizes more on the collective advancement of the region, not as the unilateral initiative from the India itself. So the united we stand is the primary objective or the primary focus of this Mahasagar initiative. With this, we move to the next topic. This news article from The Hindu is about the recent exclusion of 9 medical conditions from the list of Rights of Person with Disabilities Act. And with this article, we will be discussing about the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of 2016 and the 9 medical conditions which got excluded from the list, and the reason for its removal, as well as the potential implications and the suggestive measures. And what is the context of this news is that the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of 2016 will provide the legal recognition as well as the benefits to the people who are affected by this special kind of disabilities, and it has been reviewed by the high powered interdepartmental committee, which will be reviewing and requesting to expand the list, which will be to include the new medical conditions into the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of list. And the meeting was recently concluded in the August 20th of 2025, which was chaired by Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, who is the Secretary of Department of Empowerment of Person with Disabilities. And with respect to the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of 2016, it got enacted for majorly implementing the United Nations Convention on Rights of Person with Disabilities. As the India is a signatory and a party to the United Nations Convention of Rights of Person with Disabilities Act, it has been inducted and implemented by replacing the Person with Disabilities Act of 1995, and it has been in operation or force since April 19 of 2017. And this Rights of Person with Disabilities Act of 2016 will also has the shift in approach from the welfare based approach to the human rights based approach. And what are the salient features of this Rights of Person with Disabilities Act is that it has expanded the scope of inclusion of various disabilities into its list, that it expanded it from 7 to 21, including the acid attack victims as well as the dwarfism to be included in the type of disability in this list. And the person who are affected by this type of disabilities will have the provision or will have the scope for the inclusion in the government jobs under special kind of reservation, also on the education. And the reservation on the government job quota will also be expanded or enhanced from 3% to 4%. And the person who are affected by this special kind of disabilities will also has the free inclusive education from between the age of 6 to 18. And with respect to the employment, this also enhances the employment opportunity, will also provide the equal scope for opportunity for the person who are affected by this special disability. And there is also a reasonable accommodation of person who are to be given the special provision or the special privilege under this employment category, and there will be a special mechanism or the special training for enhancing their skill towards the getting the employment for their disabilities. And with respect to the accessibility, the public infrastructure as well as the infrastructures need to be mandately provided for the proper inclusion of this person who are affected by special kind of disabilities. It also not only include the public infrastructure, it also includes the transportation as well as the information and communication technologies. And the government schemes are also be and proper feature or the proper thing that needs to be implemented properly for the inclusion of this person who are affected by this special kind of disabilities into the mainstream or the main population of India. And what are some of the medical conditions that are to be excluded from the recently revised list of person with disabilities act is that first medical condition is the palmoplantar keratodroma, which is a skin thickening disability. It is a rare condition causing the thickness over the skin on the palms and sole areas of the individuals. And the second condition is the single sided deafness, which will be easily interpreted that the hearing loss of one side is the medical condition here, and the other ear will work normally. And the third medical condition which got excluded is the epilepsy, which is a seizure disorder because of the abnormal brain activity, and it is also a neurological condition under which condition the person or individual who was affected by this epilepsy got frequent seizures and fits. And the fourth condition is the factor 13 deficiency, which is a special kind of deficiency disorder called blood clotting disorder, on which it is a rare kind of genetic condition on which the person got the issue that the blood won't clot properly. Because of this genetic condition, it will lead to the prolonged bleeding. And the other type is that the ichthyosis, which is a dry scaly skin that like a fish like scale skin will be formed, and it will be dry in nature. So this kind of disability is also removed from the list of rights of person with disabilities act. And the other condition medical condition which got excluded is the asthma or the respiratory condition, which will be frequently visible in the Indian environment, that it is a chronic disease that blocks the airway or airways narrowing, which will also lead to the swelling of the respiratory organs, making difficulty in breathing. And the other condition is the laryngectomy, which is voice box removal because of the throat cancer or any other issue. The larynx has been removed from the individual, which will also be considered as a disability, but in the recent revision it got excluded from the disability list. And the eighth medical condition is the vital organ failure or the organ dysfunction. It's clearly stated that the organs like main organs like kidney, heart, liver or failure due to medical support or medical conditions, this requiring very medical support, and the transplant need to be taken. So this also be treated as a disability, but it got excluded because of this medical support. And the last type of medical condition which got excluded is the ostomy or the surgical opening. It is that the surgery provision or the surgery which leads to the artificial opening, that is stoma, in the body to pass waste. And what are the reasons for the rejection or the removal of this type of disabilities from the list is that the first condition, that the palmoplantar keratodroma, has been removed because of this mild condition, and under severe cases locomotory disabilities may be happened, but it will be considered to be most mildly, so it got removed from the list. And the second condition is of very low disability percentage in ratio, so it got removed from the list. And the third condition, epilepsy, got removed because severe cases of this epilepsy got listed under various category or the chronic neurological category or conditions under the rights of person with disability. So the normal condition of epilepsy got removed from the list, and this factor 13 deficiency got removed from the person with the rights of person with disability act on its recent revision because of its very rareness, and also it got existing categories, or it got listed in various other categories, so it got removed from the list. And the other type is the ichthyosis, which was also a mild type of disability and can only be possibility of locomotor disability, so it got also removed. And the asthmatic condition or the asthma, the respiratory condition also been removed because of its treatability, and it is not permanent in nature, so it got removed. And this laryngectomy also has the removed from this list because of its already coverage under various other disabilities called speech and language disability of 2024, which got recently revised. And the vital organ failure needs only the medical support and the palliative care, not the disability framework, so it got removed from the list. And the ostomy, which will be an very temporary provision or the surgical outcome, so sometime it can be reversible, so it got removed from the list. And what are the potential implications of this disabilities or this mild type of disabilities, and the exclusion of this type of disabilities from the list will be have the following potentials: as it is not legally recognized as the disabilities under this rights of person with disabilities, this person or the affected person are ineligible for getting certain type of benefits under the reservation in the education as well as jobs, and they may not have the proper welfare, they may not be covered under the proper welfare scheme provided for certain kind of disabilities, and they may be excluded by from getting the financial aid for their disabilities, and they may not get the subsidized assistive devices, or they also been part of discrimination, or they may be in the part of discrimination activities in this society, or they may be discriminated from the society by the people who on upon its upon their disabilities. And what are the suggestive alternative measures that needs to be taken, or the healthcare support is the first major thing, that the free and subsidized treatment and medical devices needs to be provided for the person who are affected by this type of special kind of disabilities, and the financial aid for this type of mild and normal reversible type of disabilities needs to be provided according to their disability, and allowance or illness fund needs to be separately provided. And the flexibility in their working conditions as well as their special skill needs to be enhanced, and special aids for their proper functioning of their or the delivery of their work needs to be provided in the working environment. And there will be an legal enforcement or the legal framework for their protection in the field of job as well as their education field. And there needs to be a certain periodic assessment for their conditions to make accessible the disability that the person got. With this, we move to the next topic. In this section of Prelims Focus, we will be discussing about the UPSC current affairs, which are very short in manner as well as very relevant to the UPSC prelims. And these contents are very self-explanatory in nature. And the first topic under Prelims Focus for today's discussion is the India Post Payment Bank, and this is in news because recently it has celebrated its 8th foundation day, and it was launched in the year of 2018, and it came into existence in the year of 2018, and it has been introduced as a pilot project in the Ranchi and Raipur region, and with the aim of being present all across India by the financial year of 2018 to 19. And this post payment bank has been the payment banks has been introduced in the Indian ecosystem under the recommendation of Nachiket More Committee, which will be very important prelims related fact, and this payment banks doesn't involve the process of issuance of credit cards. So this may also be reflected in the UPSC prelims as a statement based question, that this post payment banks has issued or will be issuing the credit card for the stakeholders is an incorrect statement, and it was established under the Ministry of Communication under the Department of Post. And the primary aim of this India's Post Payments Bank is to provide every household with the access to efficient banking services, that is to take the banking services to the doorstep of every individual in the Indian society and become financially secure and being properly empowered. And the second topic under prelims focus is the standardization of yoga training practices, which is in collaboration between WHO as well as in collaboration with the Indian organization or the Indian institute, that is the Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga. And this World Health Organization has taken this initiative in collaboration with the India, that is the institute which involves in the collaboration to bring the standardization in the yoga training practices. And what is yoga is that it is an art and science, that is it is an integration of both arts as well as science in the healthy living and the spiritual discipline of an individual, based on the extremely subtle science which focuses on bringing harmony between mind and body. And it will be of very human in nature, and it will be of very individual in nature. And the collaboration was done between World Health Organization and Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga. And the primary objective of bringing the standardization in the practice or training practice of yoga is to create guidelines for yoga practices or streamlining the yoga practices training as well as its application in the day-to-day activities. To define the global benchmark or bringing the standardization, the practice of yoga needs professional competency, knowledge, ensuring diverse traditions of yoga, that is various forms of yoga can coexist under uniform quality standards. That it is a process of integration as well as bringing the standardization in implementing the yoga training practices across the globe. And the third topic for this prelims focus is that the Controller General of Accounts, that we came across very rarely in the Indian context, that recently the Miss TCA Kalyani has become the 29th officer who assumed charge as the new Controller General of Accounts in India, and he or she will be the principal advisor of accounting matters to the Union government. And this Controller General of Accounts body or the institution works under the Department of Expenditure under the Ministry of Finance. And the legal basis of this Controller General of Accounts will derive powers from the Article 150, that is annual appropriation of accounts, that is civil in nature, and the Union finance accounts are to be submitted in the Parliament on the advice of Comptroller and Auditor General of India, which is also an esteemed position in the Indian Constitution, and it also be an constitutional body in the Indian Constitution. And the powers and duties of Controller General of Accounts involves the preparation of monthly and annual analysis of expenditure report, revenue report, as well as borrowing and various financial indicators for the Union government. As basically it suggests the fiscal as well as the moral support by this Controller General of Accounts to the Union government is very necessary, and it will be the primary duty or the power of this Controller General of Accounts. And it also has the power to establish and manage a technically sound management accounting system, and it also responsible for the exchequer control and internal audits of India. And the fourth topic is the India Mobile Congress, which is also a very important prelims topic. And recently it has been conducted an expo that is become the Asia's most prominent technology expo, which is being organized by the Department of Telecommunications and Cellular Operator Association of India, that is DOT and COAI, which can be also be reflected in the UPSC prelims, that the recently conducted Asia's most prominent technology expo, that is India Mobile Congress, has been established or organized by which of the following organizations? And the primary aim of this establishment of or the organizing of the India Mobile Congress is to integrate or to bring together industry, government, academias, and other ecosystem players to discuss, deliberate, as this is a platform for the discussion, deliberation, demonstration, and display the latest trends in the various realms such as the telecom, media, and technology and information and communication technology needs to be collaborated and to be platformed in a proper manner for its useful progress. And the fifth topic is the Semicon India 2025, which is being inaugurated or which is about to be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. That is under the Semicon India 2025 mission on 2nd September. And this Semicon India 2025 is a premier platform uniting global leaders, innovators, academias, policymakers, and the entire electronics ecosystem to shape the future of semiconductor industries. That it is also an global platform or the premier platform to integrate global leaders as well as various other stakeholders such as innovators and other knowledges from the various parts of the country or the various part of the globe has been involved in the process of making this semiconductor industry and more viable one. And this is being organized by the India Semiconductor Mission and the SEMA of India. And the primary objective of this Semicon India 2025 is to catalyze the robust and sustainable growth of this semiconductor ecosystem in India, as well as to establish the power of semiconductor industry or to demonstrate the India semiconductors potential to the globe. And it also needs to highlight the emerging technologies and solutions shaping the future of electronics in India. With this, we came to the conclusion of this video. Hope you are all the subscribers of Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and click the bell icon to receive the on-time notification. And please like the video and share the video to your friends and share your positive comments and answers and also the positive suggestions in the comment section given below. Have a good day.